So guys, when you're mixing a rock track where the guitars have to be really up front and the vocals obviously have to be up front as well, it can be quite tricky because they're both compressed. In fact, I recommend compressing both the vocals and the guitars quite a lot in a rock track because they both have to be very, very energetic and maybe a couple of layers of saturation as well. But what do you do when they're fighting with each other? As I said in the last lesson, the vocals have to be just a bit more upfront than the guitars, but it's a close first and second. So if you're struggling to get your vocals to come through, then this lesson is for you. You need a dynamic EQ plugin. Cubase Pro comes with Frequency, which has this facility now, but don't worry, I've got a free one for you, just in case your DAW doesn't come with one. If you Google TDR Nova free download, you'll come to this page, tokyodawn.net, and you've got this plugin called Nova. It's a really good EQ, but it's got dynamic EQ on it, threshold and ratio, that kind of thing. So download that. It's an easy install, Windows or Mac. Restart your DAW, and it's under the EQ section. So how does this work? What we want to do here is dip a specific part of the guitar group, not all of the volume. So just going back to the kick and the bass scenario, we were dipping the whole of the bass by 2 dBs or 3 dBs. In this situation, we're only dipping a portion of the frequency, not the whole thing. So we're going to be dipping where the vocals are prevalent, which is about 500 to 4K, something like that. In this particular track, I'll show you how to do that in a second, how to find that out. We're going to be dipping this part of the guitars every time the vocal plays. And this will just make a bit of a gap. We will carve out this part of the EQ so the vocal can be heard even clearer. So let's find out first of all where our vocals are sitting.
Better not say a word.
I mean, vocals go all the way across, but the main part, the most important part, is usually between 1 and 5. But on this occasion, we've got quite a lot of energy down at 500 as well.
No, it's better that way, oh yeah.
So we've got quite a lot, 500 and 400, all the way up to...
Hey, oh wow, the truth got blurred.
Probably this area here. So about 500 to 4K is the main part, the energetic part of the vocal. So we can use this information to choose what we're going to dip in the guitar group. So come to your guitar group, add the TDR Nova and get one of these bands, and you move it around until you get the frequency band that you want. So we want about 500 to 4K, and you can adjust the Q here, so the narrowness, wideness of this band. So if you only want a small amount of frequencies, obviously you have it there. If you want a wider band of frequencies, you have it there. So we want this fairly wide to pick up 500 and 4K. But I've only got the gain down so we can see what it's doing. We want the gain to be on 0 because I don't want to EQ this constantly. I only want to EQ this once we receive a signal from the vocals. And the way to do that is we have to activate the sidechain again. So activate the sidechain, decide what's going to trigger it. In this case, it's our Vox group, so any vocals that come through. You could just have the main vocals for this, but I've got it on the Vox group. And one more thing we need to do is change the sidechain to external. Its default is internal, but we want this plugin to look for an external source, i.e. the vocals, before it does anything. Next thing we need to do is turn on the threshold, so this will be off as default, because at the moment it's just a standard EQ plugin. But when you turn on the threshold, it activates the dynamic EQ, and this is just going to dip every time the vocals play. So set your ratio about 2 to 1, and the amount of threshold is, as normal, is how much effect you want. So let's make this really obvious to start with, and put this right down here. And every time the vocal plays, the guitar group is going to dip this part of the frequency band only. So we can make that a little bit narrower.
Whatever, I don't care. Hey.
Bring that over a little bit. There's a lot of our energy in this vocal is 500.
Yeah, we've got to know now.
So let's just solo the Vox group and the guitar group. You should be hearing a dip in frequencies whenever the vocal plays.
And come together and make it right. We've got to grow now.
And you can hear the guitar sort of come to life after the guy stops singing.
We better not say a word.
Can you hear the guitars getting brighter after he's stopped?
No, no, it's better that way, oh yeah.
So this is way too extreme. It's just for demo purposes. You've got attack and release. You want a quick attack because you want it to pull down this frequency band as soon as you start singing, and then you want a fairly quick release. But the quickest release on this plugin is 10 milliseconds. Otherwise, this band is going to take ages to get back to where it started. So let's just take the threshold back up.
Hey, hey, oh wow, the truth got blurred. Whatever, I don't care. Hey, hey, yeah. We've got to know now and come together.
So what we're doing is just carving out a little part of the frequency band to help the vocal come through.
And make it right. We've got to grow now. Two wrongs won't make it right.
You can add in a bit of mix. If it's too much for you, you can add, you've got a dry wet mix here, so you can change that if you want. But yeah, I don't want to do too much on this mix because it's sounding pretty good anyway.
No, no, it's better that way, oh yeah. Hey, hey, oh wow, the truth got blurred.
So before,
Whatever, I don't care. We better not say a word. No, no, it's better that way, oh yeah. Hey, hey, oh wow, the truth got blurred. Whatever, I don't care.
yeah, I'd say that was slightly better. I'd say the vocal is slightly clearer and the guitars are not so much in the way, but I've only got it on slight settings because the mix is in a good place already. So that's a really, really interesting one for you if you are struggling to get your vocals to come through, and if they're fighting with another part of the track, that is what you should do, dynamic EQ. Okay guys, I'll see you in the next one where we'll do a little bit of mastering. Cheers guys, bye bye.